In this video, I'm going to give you a tour of Live's built-in instruments. This will just be a very brief overview. In later videos, I will go into each instrument in greater depth. Let's start with Operator. I have a blank MIDI channel here, and I'm going to load Operator onto it. I can do this one of two ways. If I double-click Operator, Ableton loads a blank operator into the channel. This is the factory default preset with the most basic settings. If I open up the triangle next to the word operator, I get menus of presets. For instance, if I go into brass and choose bright brass, here is the sound I will get. And that's completely different than if I were to choose, say, mallets, brushed bell, hits bells. Completely different sound, same instrument. I'm going to choose a blank operator for right now. And I just want to point out some of the primary features, and we'll save the finer details for another video. Operator has 4 oscillators. If I play a note and bring the level up on the other oscillators, you'll hear the difference. I can adjust the coarse and fine tuning of each of these oscillators individually. Whenever I click on a tab, that tab's parameters will be showed in this black center screen. So for instance, if I adjust the envelope for oscillator C and then click on oscillator B, it goes back to the way it was before, because now I'm looking at the envelope for oscillator B. There are many settings in here that we will learn about later. On the right hand side, you have an LFO, a filter, a pitch envelope, and a master section. The thing I want to point out in the master section is this sort of Tetris piece looking thing. If you click on it, you will see the 11 possible routing algorithms for operator, and this describes the way the oscillators interact. For instance, in the default routing scheme, oscillator D feeds into C, which feeds into B, which feeds into A. In the 11th algorithm, all oscillators are independent of one another and sound simultaneously. Operator has a wide range of sound possibilities, but let's move on for now to analog. I'm going to record arm analog, and it highlights the track and it shows me analog down here. Again, this is the factory default preset for analog, not one of the presets that come bundled in the preset menus. Analog is designed to emulate an analog synthesizer. It has 2 oscillators, 2 filter sections, 2 amplifiers, an LFO, and a master section. Each one of these modules in analog can be turned on and off by clicking on the yellow button that corresponds to that section. When a section is active and you click on it, you can adjust all the parameters inside this black window. Whatever you click on, that's what's displayed in the center window. The master section includes a volume control, vibrato, unison with detuning controls, and glide time. There are many possibilities with analog, but this is the basic sound. I like using analog for bass sounds, and when you watch the analog specific video later on, we'll look at a variety of bass sounds. Next comes wavetable. I'm going to record arm the wavetable track and it will show it. Wavetable is the newest instrument in this demonstration, as it just came out with Ableton Live version 10. The heart of wavetable is the wavetable. So if I press a key, I get this sine wave, and I can move my wavetable position to access the other waves. If I want a more complex set of waves, I can go to these menus and choose different sets of waves. Right now, we're on Basics in the Basic Shapes submenu. Instead of Basics, I'm going to choose Complex. And then in the submenu, you can see there are a variety of options. Let's try transformations. There are also two filters that can be used to sculpt the frequency range of the sound. On the right-hand side, you can see your modulation sources, your modulation matrix, and your MIDI modulation matrix. The master controls have a volume control, a voice control that switches between polyphonic and monophonic, glide and unison controls. You also have a third oscillator which provides a subsine wave. Again, we'll go over these in much more detail in a future video. I'll also show you in a future video how to make this wavetable move with your music so that it gives you a very complex moving sound.